We'd like to bring in May Mailman. She was a White House attorney for the Trump administration. May, always good to have you with us here on Morning in America. We're in the midst of a former president, being indicted on federal charges. We have voter apathy over a Biden-Trump rematch in 2024. This report by Durham follows 4 years of investigations. What's Americans' interest level in these findings?
Well, 70% of Americans are concerned, somewhat or very concerned, that the FBI and other intelligence agencies are going to engage in election interference in the future. So I do think that you've got a voting public who's primed to know what intelligence agencies are doing in elections in the future. And the vast majority of Americans also don't think that the reforms are sufficient. So you can see Trump using election interference as his messaging. He also has political prosecution as his messaging, but that basically that at this point, if the voters know that Trump had all these boxes at Mar-a-Lago, let it be up to the voters whether they want to see him in the White House or not. And instead, you have these agencies who have a mission to get Trump. And the Durham report, I think, very much aligns with that. Will the voters care about election interference? Well, who knows? The vast majority of people who responded to this survey, so this is registered voters, also said that they were not surprised that the FBI had a get Trump mission. So, and that includes 55% of Democrats, 75% of Republicans and independents. So if people are already expecting election interference in the FBI and then the FBI goes ahead and engages in it, maybe they're just already expecting that life is unfair.
Well, and I want to address this because we live in this deep era of skepticism. I mean, people are so divided. We're used to hearing the word allegedly and to question everything and to maybe even predict bias. But can you make it plain between what the difference is of the allegations or the claims that we've been reporting on for the past number of years and the findings of special counsel Durham's investigation? Should Americans take him at his word, take these findings for what they are as fact?
So, I think it's a good opportunity for House Judiciary on Wednesday to probe his findings. I think from the left, you haven't really been hearing necessarily that Durham's investigation is inaccurate, but I think that they point out two things. One, that there was no finding of need for whole-scale reform of the FBI, and two, that there weren't substantial convictions. But I think that those two things aren't necessarily meaningful because the right isn't saying that there needs to be reforms in the FBI, but that the political bias has so infected the FBI. It's not the fact that they don't have the right policies. They do have the right policies. But because people are politically blinded, they're not following their own policies. And I think that is actually something that we're continuing to see happen. So very recently, the FBI was exposed for not following its own policies when they did warrantless searches on January 6th defendants and George Floyd defendants. So the FBI continues to not follow its own policies. It says it changed it, but maybe it didn't. So, whatever side of the aisle you're on, hopefully you're going to get some clarification. But I don't really think that people have said that Durham is actually wrong in his investigation, just maybe that his investigation doesn't matter. I strongly push back on that because a political FBI endangers all of us, as you can see, potentially from January 6th defendants and George Floyd protesters.
Well, and the fact is that people are sitting there listening to this, and there are some who are impassioned and angry over the fact that the FBI could get away with any politicization, that they overstepped their bounds. And then you have people who think this is old news. We already knew this. It doesn't matter. It happens, but we found out. Again, it could lead to more investigations in other branches of government as well. May Mailman, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Adrian.